In 1955, Brazil was a land of unwritten rules, where the color of your skin dictated where you could walk, eat, or love. In the rural interior, these rules were ironclad, enforced with fists or worse. The capital offered a veneer of progress, but beneath it, the same prejudices simmered. For Jose Silva, a black man born into a humble family in a small town, these truths were carved into his bones from childhood. His father toiled in a factory. His mother scrubbed the floors of wealthy homes. And Jose learned early that survival meant knowing his place. By 18, he was a mechanic in a modest garage. One of the few jobs where a black man could earn an honest living without bowing to a white boss. Jose was tall, lean, with ebony skin and a quiet intensity that unsettled white men and drew curious glances from white women. He knew better than to entertain those glances. He'd seen what happened to black men who lingered too long on forbidden beauty: beatings, jail, or a noose in the worst cases. But then he met Anna Lenz. Anna was everything Jose was not. White, privileged, the daughter of Carlos Lenz, a powerful businessman whose wealth came from investments and influence. Raised in luxury, Anna's life was a gilded cage of etiquette lessons and social events designed to mold her into the perfect wife. Yet she chafed against her father's world, her restless spirit yearning for something more. At 18, she slipped away to a secret jazz club in the city, a dimly lit basement where black and white youth mingled in defiance of the era's rules. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and rebellion, and there, amid the sultry notes of a saxophone, Anna's eyes met Jose's. There was no fear in her gaze, only curiosity, a dangerous spark. She approached him, her blonde hair catching the dim light, her blue eyes alight with defiance. "What's your name?" she asked, her voice cutting through the music. Jose hesitated, wary, but her smile disarmed him. They talked for hours, their words weaving a fragile bridge across the chasm of their worlds. She was captivated by his stories of grit and survival. He was drawn to her fearlessness, her willingness to step into his orbit. When the night ended, she asked to see him again. He knew he should walk away, but he didn't. Their secret meetings grew reckless. One night, while Jose worked late in the garage, Anna appeared at the door, her pale skin glowing under the street lamp. Before he could send her away, a black car screeched to a halt. Carlos Lenz stepped out, his face twisting with rage as he saw his daughter with a black man. He dragged Anna away, his silence more menacing than any words. The next morning, a note was slipped under the garage door. "Stay away from my daughter." It wasn't a request, it was a threat. But Jose, for the first time, felt no fear. He was falling for Anna, and he was ready to risk everything that Anna's life became a prison. Her father locked her in the house, her every move watched, her phone calls monitored. Yet she found ways to reach Jose: a smuggled letter, a whispered message through a sympathetic maid. One night, when the city slept, they met in the shadows and made a choice. They fled, leaving behind Anna's wealth and Jose's hard-earned stability. With nothing but a small bag and their burning resolve, they boarded a freight train to an industrial city in Minas Gerais, where mixed-race couples were rare but not outlawed. It was their only hope, The city was gritty, its air heavy with factory smoke and its streets lined with soot-stained buildings. They found a cramped room in a boarding house, where the walls were thin and privacy was a luxury. Jose worked grueling 12-hour shifts at a steel mill, his body aching from the heat. Anna took up sewing, her delicate hands soon calloused and bleeding. They married in a small church, the ceremony stark. No guests, no rings, just vows whispered under the suspicious gaze of a priest. Anna shed her old name, becoming Anna Silva, and for the first time, she felt free. But freedom came at a cost. The city tolerated their marriage, but acceptance was another matter. Jose's co-workers kept their distance, wary of the black man with a white wife. Neighbors whispered about Anna, questioning her sanity or her morals. Money was scarce, meals often skipped, clothes patched until they were more thread than fabric. Yet their love grew stronger, forged in hardship. When their son, Icaro, was born, Anna expected joy, but instead, a shadow fell over her. Holding her newborn, she was haunted by a secret she'd buried long, AG T17. Before she met Jose, Anna had born another child, a boy, conceived with Samuel, a black laborer she'd loved in secret. Her father had hidden the pregnancy, claiming illness to shield the family's reputation. When the baby was born, he was taken from her arms, given to a wealthy family in a discreet adoption. Anna was told it was for the best, that the child would have a better life. She buried the pain, but now, cradling Icaro, the guilt resurfaced. She never told Jose, carrying the secret like a stone in her chest. Years passed. A daughter, Margarita, joined the family, her wild laughter filling their small home. Anna poured herself into her children, but the weight of her secret grew heavier. She dreamed of her lost son, imagining his face, wondering if he resembled Icaro or carried her features. Jose noticed her growing distance, the way she stared into nothing, but he respected her silence, assuming it was the strain of their hard life. Then the letters began. The first from her father was a cold command, "Come home." She burned it, but more followed, each more threatening. "You'll regret this." Anna's fear returned, a constant hum in her mind. She began hiding money, coins tucked under the mattress, notes sewn into her dress. She told herself it was a precaution, not a plan to leave, but the act felt like a betrayal. One day, a new letter arrived, not from her father, but in an unfamiliar hand. "I know who you are." Her heart stopped. Someone knew about her first son. The secret began to unravel her. She barely slept, her appetite gone. Jose found the letter, crumpled in a drawer, and confronted her. But before he could demand answers, Anna fell ill. A persistent cough turned into searing chest pain. The doctor's diagnosis was brutal. Her heart was failing. There was no cure, only time slipping away in her final days as Jose held her frail body. Anna confessed everything: the hidden money, the doubts in their early years, the child she'd given up, and the truth that cut deepest: she hadn't married him for love. She'd married him to escape her father's control, to flee a life she couldn't bear. But over the years, She had come to love him fiercely, more than she'd thought possible. She begged for his forgiveness, tears streaming down her face. Jose listened in silence, his expression unreadable. He cared for her until the end, wiping her brow, carrying her when she couldn't walk. On her final night, as the cold seeped into their home, he held her and whispered words too soft to hear. When she closed her eyes, a faint smile curved her lips. She was gone. The house was too quiet without her. Jose sat in their bedroom, staring at the empty space beside him. Her confession had shattered him, not because of the lies, but because he'd never suspected. He believed their love was unshakable, built on trust. Now, he questioned everything. Had she ever truly chosen him? The letters remained a haunting reminder. The last one, not from Carlos, but from an unknown sender, read, "Your son is looking for you." Jose's breath caught. A son he never knew existed, now searching for answers. He couldn't ignore it. For weeks, he wrestled with the decision, but the thought of his own children, Icaro and Margarita, being lost to him drove him to act. Jose began his search in the city, questioning neighbors, scouring church records. A faded entry confirmed Anna's maiden name and their rushed marriage, hinting at her desperation. He wrote to hospitals, orphanages, and charities, each dead and a fresh wound. Icaro and Margarita joined him, their grief binding them to the quest for a brother they'd never known. Months later, a lead emerged. An old man, Samuel, contacted Jose. In a rundown boarding house, he revealed the truth. He was the father of Anna's first child, a boy taken by her father and given to a wealthy family. Anna had never stopped searching for him, Samuel said, her letters filled with anguish. The boy had a distinctive birthmark, a red patch on his left shoulder. Armed with this clue, Jose redoubled his efforts. He combed adoption records, questioned midwives, and visited orphanages. Finally, a letter from a distant orphanage mentioned a boy with such a birthmark, adopted by a family in the capital. Jose sold what little they had, packed up his children, and headed to the city in a quiet neighborhood. He knocked on the door of a modest house. A young man answered, tall and strong, with dark hair and piercing eyes. Jose's heart raced as he glimpsed the red mark on the man's shoulder. "My name is Jose," he said, voice trembling. "I knew your mother." The man, Marcos, listened as Jose told the story of Anna's forbidden love, her flight, her lifelong regret. Tears fell as Marcos learned of the mother who'd never forgotten him. That day, Jose, Icaro, and Margarita embraced their lost brother, and Marcos found the family he'd never known.